Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to my pod, the CAA Show. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis. My name is Juggi Bhasin. So it's a weekend and I thought I would do something light, something not very, very long, something very, very interesting. And I was thinking of this interesting film which has been released on Netflix called Sikandar Ka Muqaddar. And obviously, if you do not know why this very interesting, funny title, some would say, it is actually a takeoff on the earlier title of Amitabh Bachchan's film, Muqaddar Ka Sikandar. They have reversed that. And that's, I think, the only clever thing in the film, because the film actually is a big, big disappointment. And I want to talk about that why is it a disappointment and why am I spending even 10 minutes talking about this? Because the director of the film, that is Neeraj Pandey, is actually not some ordinary director. He actually is one of the more talented directors of Bollywood. He's made some very, very interesting watchable films like Wednesday, Baby, films on counter-terrorism. Those are interesting films, I thought. So he's done some good job. And actually, I was looking forward to his film. And I saw this film on Netflix. But after I watched the film, the first thing that came through my mind was that this film has been Netflixed. And what is being Netflix? It means that it has been punctuated, filled in with wokeism. And that's why this film, to my mind, has completely bombed. It is not at all interesting. It is very unconvincing. And I think we should talk a little bit about that because it shows that sometimes when, you compromise on terms of ideology, in terms of some kind of, very wokist kind of a thought, then disasters like Sikandar Ka Muqaddar happen. So what's the problem with this film, which I think, which is obviously currently, which is right now you can view it on Netflix. What has gone wrong with Sikandar Ka Muqaddar? The thing which has gone wrong with Sikandar Ka Muqaddar is that it actually has a very, very unconvincing story. It's part of a larger problem which is going on in Bollywood. If you think about it, in the last, not only few months, but the last, I think, couple of years, hardly any decent film with a tremendous storyline has been released. And there's a reason for that why stories are becoming unconvincing, scripts are no longer powerful, the narrative is very, very unconvincing, unrealistic. Bollywood is bombing. And in comparison, films from the South are doing extremely well, and the simple reason which divides the film from the South as films from the North, that is from Bollywood, is the story. The story in the film from the South is very, very powerful. The story is very convincing. The visual effects and the direction and the acting and all that, the dancing, everything comes later. But the fault line really lies in Bollywood in that stories are terrible stories, films are being made on terrible stories. And why that is also happening is because this Netflixing problem which is going on with Bollywood, that a lot of, I wouldn't even say a lot, I would say most of the films now in Bollywood are subscribing to this wokist diktat. And what is this wokist diktat? This is this ultra secular kind of narrative which is going on right now. And that is going on in film after film. The same kind of actors are being repeated, which they are there on Netflix in these feature films also. The stories are very, very unconvincing. They are being tailor-made to suit this wokist culture, and that's the big problem which is going on in Bollywood. Whereas in the South, the dynamism, the storylines is there to be seen. It's look at the kind of tremendous reviews and the kind of appreciation which Pushpa 2 is getting, which is again from the South, as compared to the films from the North. The North is really, really bombing, and we need to understand why. But let's come to this particular film, that is Sikandar Ka Muqaddar. What has gone wrong? What has gone wrong with the story out here? And the biggest problem in this, I won't take too much of time because I don't want to give the complete story away also if you haven't watched the film. But the biggest problem in this is it's not so much about the heist, the diamond heist. Diamond heist is a perennial subject of interest Some of the most interesting films actually have been made on diamond heists, both in Hollywood and in Bollywood also. A lot of people wouldn't know that in the 70s, Bollywood actually made some very, very interesting films. There were film after film. There was जो चाबी होती है, जो सेफ की चाबी होती है, तो उसको कैसे सेफ को तोड़ा जाए, उसको कैसे खोला जाए, उसमें से डायमंड्स कैसे निकाले जाए. So there are a lot of films which have been made about that, and there were some very interesting films which were made in the 70s. But this film, unfortunately, is not interesting at all. But it is not so much on the story or the practicality of the heist, how it is carried through. That is not the real story. I think the real story in this film is about the relationship of the protagonist with a woman. That is, the protagonist happens to be Avinash Tiwari, who's playing the stellar main role in the film, and his relationship with Tabassum, the actress, the dancer from the south. And that relationship is absolutely unconvincing. That is completely unconvincing. You live with a person for 15 years and then you betray that person just because you want to show in the story that, you have something else, some plotting which you happen in your mind. It doesn't happen like that. So the relationship part is unconvincing, and there the wokeist element has come in, and I'll tell you the fatal flaw of this film. That this man in flashbacks is seen also to have a relationship with another woman. That is, this lady is called Zoya Afroz. The actress plays Tabassum Khan. And what I find problematic in this entire thing is that out of nowhere, this lady crops up, Tabassum Khan, who then we find out had been a bar dancer in Mumbai, and then she's become a corporate entity in Dubai. The transformation is completely unreal. And why do you need to make cliches of Muslims being as bar dancers, and then they become corporate entities, then they are doing so good? This is wokeism. This entirely supplanting of this wokeist, secular kind of nonsense which goes on. And therefore the relationship between actually Tabassum and this actor Avinash Tiwari was quite convincing till this angle was introduced. And it had to be introduced because it is, as I said, you needed to show some secular, within quotes, nice Muslim kind of angle. No need for all that. And that's what destroyed the film to my mind. It was not so much as the plotting of the diamond heist, where that was okay. But this relationship part was a big problem in the film. It was completely unnecessary, unconvincing. That destroyed the film. Neeraj Pandey, actually his forte had been relationships. In Wednesday, for instance, the relationship that develops between Asiruddin Shah and Anupam Kher, that was convincing. But here he completely goes off track. And as I said, there are twin problems. One is the story, how you write the story, how you write the script, how you develop relationships. In all three departments, this film completely falters. The only saving grace in the film, and I think if you really have to watch this, then you have to watch it only for two things really. One, the first thing is this outstanding performance of Jimmy Shergill. That's right, Jimmy Shergill, one of the most understated actors of Bollywood. He is brilliant, by the way, in this film. That's the only thing I think which Neeraj Pandey got right. You look at the face of Jimmy Shergill, he's still a relatively young actor, but he's growing older. And this look of a wasted life, this look of an alcoholic, this look of a life which has gone by, an ideal which was never fulfilled, all that look comes on his face. It is brilliant the way he enacts it. So if you have to watch it for Jimmy Shergill. And the other surprise package in the film is Tamanna. Tamanna is really, really good, I thought. I always had this impression of Tamanna Bhatia as this svelte actress doing item numbers in the South, in films in the South. But she actually surprises with very composed, very restrained, but very effective acting potential. She is the perfect foil to this character that is Avinash Tiwari. And the real disappointment I thought in the film was actually the lead role played by Avinash Tiwari, because the man can't decide whether he wants to imitate Ajay Devgan, which is in half the film he's trying to do that. In the other half, he's trying to, play this silent, smoldering, angry young man. He doesn't convince you. It does not fit at all. He is the weak link, I think, in the film. But if you have to go and watch, if you are doing nothing, if you really want to watch a Hindi potboiler, and if you have to watch Sikandar ka Muqaddar, then do it for Jimmy Shergill, do it for Tabassum. They have done outstanding roles in this film, but the storyline is pitifully weak. The wokeism in the film is completely undesirable. You feel irritated actually at this wokeism which comes out of nowhere. If you disregard all that, it is time pass kind of a film. I wouldn't give it more than 5 or 5.5 out of 10. Watch it if you have nothing else to do. Otherwise, if you have other good stuff to watch, then please avoid Sikandar ka Muqaddar. I would rather stick with Amitabh Bachchan's Muqaddar ka Sikandar, which came way back in the 80s. And so on this note, I come to the end of this podcast. I hope you're liking the CAA show. It's very simple. All you have to do is to press that red button to subscribe to our show. Do subscribe to us, and you'll be privy to a lot of interesting podcasts coming your way. Goodbye and cheers. Till next time.